Hey guys, today we're doing a little bit of a different video for you. We have decided to show you a bit how we prepare for some big shows. So this is Raisin, this is one of Indy's rides, and she's got some champs coming up, hasn't she?
Yeah,
so
got the area festivals, and so we just thought we'd show you kind of how we prepare with both the horses that I ride. Henry's gonna be training me now because we've got about a week away or so from the areas, so I need his help more than ever.
In my experience, well, it's always the week before a big show. I think that's when, for most people, the panic starts to set in and everything doesn't feel good, and it can be really tempting to change what you're doing normally in your training.
Yeah.
And I think the kind of the most important thing when you have a big show coming up is to actually stick to your processes, stick to your game plan, and keep the horses in as close to their normal routine as possible.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you want them to be relaxed and happy and feel like they know what's going on.
Yeah.
The last thing they need is to feel like you're in a mad flat trying to get it all perfect, you know. So anyway, yeah, Indy's going to get her ready now, and then we're going to head down to the school and we'll show you a little bit what we're working on and talk about anything else that we think might be interesting on the way to these big shows.
Yeah.
Are you feeling nervous about this show?
No.
No? Not feeling nervous at all? That's the way.
Once, I mean, I say no now, but we had like a really good run up at the MCI.
Yeah.
Heartbreak a few weeks ago.
Can you give me one of those?
Yeah, she was really good.
But every show you've done with her has consistently
Gotten better.
Things have improved, haven't
Yeah. But she gave me a really good feeling, and it's just starting to feel like we're really becoming a little team. So I'm just excited.
they? Yeah, she's by nature a very hot horse, so and it's early days. You've only been riding her for a couple of months, haven't you?
Yeah.
She's a pre, so she's Andalusian, and she's by a stallion called Risolto. So actually she's owned and bred by Karen, who's our landlord, Karen Manzi. And she, when you first started riding her, she was quite spicy and it was all new, and there was a lot of tension running through, wasn't there?
Yeah. It was just like, where do we start?
Yeah.
Thing, wasn't it?
Yeah. And I think that really showed in your first few tests. The web going looked lovely, but there was lots of little moments where there was miscommunications or, you know, little wobbles and
We'd have mistakes, wouldn't we? Just because tension would creep in and like.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd get a few too many mistakes in the test, which would obviously cost us quite a bit. But the last few times we've been out, we've had really nice clear rounds.
Her mistakes they always come from trying too hard rather than not trying hard enough. I think that's, you know, so for you it's learning to kind of ride and guide her without her thinking you're asking for more, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. You just got to keep her calm. Like, she just wants to do more. And at the minute, she needs to learn to actually just let me tell her what to do. And then when I want more, then she gives me more, rather than thinking we always want more.
Yeah. And I think, like, what have you done? You've probably done 5 shows so far, and I think every show there's been a little bit of improvement. And certainly at the last show, they really looked like a strong partnership, and the mare looked like she really trusted Indy and performed a couple of really nice mistake-free tests. So obviously coming up to the areas, we don't want to change masses, and I think actually your relationship with her's improved again since then. You know, having done the show, she looks like she's gained more trust in you.
You're so sweet.
Hello. So this is one of those moments that, like this week, where I have to pretend that I'm all calm and chilled and relaxed for Indy's benefit, but secretly I'm bricking it. Always. I want every session to go so well. I want her to have the best rides because I know how much that will kind of like help her with her confidence on the run up to the show. But you know, you can't help but be so heavily invested, you know, as anyone's trainer, when you see how much work people put in. But obviously this is on a different level. We do everything together. She's my best friend. She's my wife to be. I just want her to smash it because I know how much she wants it and how passionate she is for it. So, and the mare that she's riding is a real giver, and she deserves every bit of success as well. So, yeah, we just want to get the most out of these sessions. So that's interesting though. As a trainer, people probably don't realise. You know, everyone always assumes that we're so nonchalant about the whole thing because we've been doing it forever. But really, you know, that anxiety for the people that you help to perform well and do their best. You know, I think you feel it more as a trainer than, certainly I do. I feel it more as a trainer than I do as a rider. So Indy, she's just warming up now, and we tend to keep our warm-up sessions really, really easy. You know, the same with every horse. Walk, trot and canter, we're looking for them to work over the back, nice stretch, get the body warm, very passive. At this stage of the session, we're probably, I'm almost consciously under-riding a little bit. So yes, I have an image in my mind of how I want the horse to warm up, but I'm very casual about how it is. You know, if a horse one day doesn't feel as loose, then I can just take a little bit longer. And really, I'm saving my riding at this point as well. So I'm not asking a question that's too difficult of the horse in the early stages and overriding when the horse isn't ready to give that answer yet anyway. So yeah, this part of the process is just about getting the horse warm, like I said, and also building its positivity, letting it have a nice relaxed phase in the riding where it feels like it's getting everything right, and it can be, you know, feeling comfortable within himself or herself and ready for more tricky questions coming on later in the session. So even with the big show coming up, I think the most important thing is to not forget your basics. So that there's obviously the temptation to do a lot of test riding, and obviously that's definitely necessary. You need to be comfortable with the movements you've got to perform, where you've got to perform them, and the order and sequence that you've got to perform them in. But there's that fine balance, you know, your basic riding. What is your basic riding? I mean, for me, basic riding is working on balance, reactivity, and suppleness. Those are the things I'm looking for. So when I'm looking for reactivity, I'm in the basic work, I'm only working on one thing at a time. So again, it's very purist. So if I'm working on reactivity, I can be working with transitions, forwards and back, very basic, that from the lightest possible aid, the horse responds and goes forwards without any conflicting advice going through to the horse. So it's not about riding perfect transitions. They're not test transitions, but they're transitions where you get a clear moment of pressure from the leg to go forwards, and as the horse goes forward, release and reward, so that the horse starts to kind of know the game and become more reactive. And obviously the quicker the horse reacts, the more praise you can give him, and then the pressure comes off. So that riding like that, where you give yourself the freedom, and it doesn't matter what it looks like, you can play this game of cat and mouse with the horse to develop really good reactivity. The other side of your basics is your suppleness. Now, I think sometimes where people can go wrong a little bit in the beginning is when they try to get reactivity and suppleness straight away together. That's where your test riding lies. That's where you join the dots later on. So for me, if I'm working on the reactivity in the beginning stages of my session, it's exactly that, just reactivity. Later on, I could be working on the suppleness. Now, when I'm working on the suppleness, you know, with my lateral exercises, my shoulder falls, my leg yields, my travers, in the beginning, I will accept slightly less reactivity to get an elastic, relaxed position, lateral position in the body that gives me a yielding, soft feel. And I think if you can kind of separate the two initially, and then through your session when you feel like, okay, my horse is supple in the body, that feels really good. Okay, my horse is reactive forwards and back. Then I can start to combine the two and I join the dots. And then if I feel like I can join the dots very well, I've got a horse that's laterally supple, well balanced and reactive, then actually when I come to ride my test later on, I tend to find I have much less problems anyway. You know, there's always going to be some issues and there's always things I think you can work on when you've done a test, but for me it always comes back down to those things. So balancing it out when you're preparing is some days in the week before your show, just basics. Always at the start of your session, basics, and then a couple of sessions a week where you start to bring in more of those test exercises and the things that are like the cherry on the cake, practicing your halts, your centre lines, making sure that your walk is active and good and stretching correctly with the nose in front. All of those things that, you know, it's easy to, if you're not focused on those things, to lose a few marks here and there. So just work on getting a little bit more contact onto the bridle. Feel like you can squeeze her with your hands, gently squeeze her and get her to accept pulling onto the rein in a nice way. You know, obviously she has that temptation to be a little bit light on the rein. She doesn't quite want to take the bit, so you've got to develop her confidence. Quietly hold her hand with the contact, nice and gently, and encourage her that it's not a negative thing that you have a bit of weight in the reins. It's a positive thing, and that it's certainly not something she needs to be afraid of. Good. And then when you get those moments where you feel like she does just accept and relaxes into the contact a little bit, that's when you can do a nice easy give and retake and tell her how good she is. Good. As you collect, you're still building activity from the hind leg. That's it, keep riding. Good, relaxed hands, but with a bit of contact, so there is connection. Good, and then riding the hind leg a little bit quicker underneath you to collect her. Yeah. Good, and she's allowed to pull the rein forward as she does it, that's fine. Good. Good. And then come down the long side and you can ride forwards towards your medium a little bit. Good, and then ride your circle and work on that transition back. Obviously with these young ones you're going to have to develop the transition slowly so that you can do it how you want to, from your seat, from your leg, and allow her to keep pulling the bit forwards. That's good. Now use a 10-meter circle, exactly right. So the turn helps you bring her back so you can keep riding forwards. Well done. Okay, now try your short diagonal with your give and take. Again, we'll just try that medium canter. Don't go for too much that you lose control. Consistency to get your marks. Good. Good. So there again, that was really nice and consistent. I probably think maybe for a test we need to go for a little bit more. But do it in a way that you don't lose all the quality that you just had. Yeah, the quality you had there was really nice. The control was really nice. But we need to then just touch on a little bit more power to get the higher marks. And this is a calculated risk. You look very in control, so now go a little bit more. Yeah. And that for me is an extra mark higher there. That she quietly pulls onto the rein without pulling onto the forehand. Well done. That's a better connection there to the bit, yeah? There, she pulls the reins in the right direction, doesn't she?
Yeah.
And that's when she opens her nose as well then? Good. Because you want her to open her frame, but you don't want her to drop the contact. And again, just think about developing engagement, not speed. So we'll just practice a couple of halts. Always think at the start with your halts, try to do them on the wall, because the wall will help you keep her straight. Okay, fine. Pat the neck, walk on. Now, even though the halt wasn't perfect, it's important that you don't overcorrect her. Think about what went wrong in the transition down to the halt, what we need to improve. I think we need to keep her a little bit more connected between the leg and the hand and ride the transition with your legs forwards into the contact on the way down. Better. Good. We've just worked on basics today, haven't we,
Yeah.
really? So getting the way of going where we want it.
Yeah.
Tomorrow we'll probably do a bit of test riding, won't we?
Yeah, we're still just kind of easing all the horses back into work, aren't they, since we've had like 10 days off from the regionals, so they all got a nice like stretchy day yesterday, and
Yeah.
we're gradually now bringing them back into work. But yeah, I'm happy with that being the first working day.
Really nice positive session. She's a super good girl as always.
Peace! This is my favourite bit.
Play My Little Pony.
Yeah. I love washing them off.
I feel like this vlog's been dead worky, so if you think it's boring, guys, just drop a comment and tell us. Stop with the boring work stuff.
Yeah.
But hopefully it's been informative too, though.
Yeah. We're just still figuring out what the people want, you know. I know you're all here for Henry, and I've kind of stolen the show. Do you even want to see Henry work?
They don't even want to see me full stop
Or is
anymore.
it all about me? Do you want to see a professional, or actually, do you want to watch an amateur? Who's more inspiring? You've already made it. Oh dear, you don't like watering your thing. No. You don't like it. You don't like it. Oh, she's a gorgeous jelly. She's a gorgeous jelly. Yeah.
Because she's doing what you do, scratching her bum on the door and...
Let us know what you want to see. Right, Mason? Yeah? So tell us what you want to see. Okay, bye.
So next up, we're going to do a bit of the same video with Babs.
Yeah.
Getting her ready for her areas.
And potentially, fingers crossed, the nationals.
Fingers crossed for the nationals. Obviously, we've got Belinsky here. He's doing the nationals as well, and
So we'll do a bit of how
Kiwi.
you prep.
So, yeah, we'll have a lot of show prep coming up, and also we'll try and vlog a couple of the shows as well, so you get to see a bit behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then obviously we'll do some lifestyle stuff as well, won't we?
Yeah. Say bye.
See you guys.